Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai. Call Elohim La Adonai Yahweh, Bashim Shamalak Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash. Double honors to the apostle and elders, great millstone, peace, citation, hope for elect, Shalom. And as you can see in this article, it says his girlfriend, a suspected killer who dismembered ex's body and stuffed it in 2 suitcases in Brooklyn apartment, used victim's benefit card. And basically this article was on October 2022 by the Daily Mail. It says Deasia Johnson, 22, was found dead on September 21st, but now it's been claimed her electronic benefits transfer card was being used by her estranged boyfriend's new partner. Justin Williams, 23, today appeared in front of Nassau County Criminal Court, charged with a slew of misdemeanors unrelated to Johnson's rancid death. Williams, who lives in Harlem, was announced by Nassau County Assistant District Attorney Brittany Guerrieri as a person of interest in the gruesome crime. On Sunday, NYPD also released images of 5 men and 1 woman who were looked into question in relation to Johnson's death. And it says Deasia Johnson, found dead on September 21st, found chopped up in 2 suitcases in Brooklyn apartment. The new girlfriend of a suspected killer who was accused of hacking his former love to death and storing her dismembered limbs in suitcases used her benefit cards, it has been claimed. And it says Deasia, 22, Johnson was found dead on September 21st at a Brooklyn apartment. And her dismembered body was found inside bloodstained apartment 6F at Linwood Apartments, an affordable housing building in East New York, Brooklyn. A meat cleaver was also found near her body. The victim, Justin Williams, 23, today appeared in front of Nassau County Criminal Court, charged with a slew of misdemeanors unrelated to Johnson's death. Williams, who lives in Harlem, was announced by Nassau County Assistant District Attorney Brittany Guerrieri as a person of interest in the gruesome crime. His other unnamed girlfriend, who is also the mother of his children, has been using Johnson's benefits card since she had died, according to the NY Daily News. It's not clear what the woman purchased while using the card. It said the building superintendent made the gruesome discovery at 315 Linwood Street in East New York around 1:30 p.m. The body was found inside apartment 6F at Linwood Apartments, an affordable housing building in East New York, Brooklyn. And on Sunday, NYPD also released the images of 5 men and 1 woman who they were looking to question in relation to Johnson's death. The 22-year-old had not been seen for several weeks before neighbors noticed a foul smell coming from inside the home last month. One called the building super to request a welfare check, which prompted the grim discovery. According to sources, the super arrived at the apartment and was met by the victim's boyfriend, who refused to let him in. He then called the police, at which point the boyfriend and another man were seen fleeing the building carrying a duffel bag, NY Daily News reported. The super then returned to the empty apartment to find the suitcases stuffed with the victim's body parts as well as the meat cleaver in the bathroom. Johnson allegedly had an order of protection filed against her estranged boyfriend before she was found dead. Part of the order meant he was barred from being at her apartment. The apartment building contains 100 units of affordable housing, but it also houses recently released Rikers inmates. Oof, boy. Wow. They said of the charges, Williams was in court for today. He pleaded not guilty and bail was set at $125,000 for the assault at the laundromat, as well as $25,000 for the Walgreens grand larceny. Wow. And let me see. With that being said, I could bring out some scriptures, and Lord willing, you will feel like we'll be edified. In Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 30 says, "And when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with painting, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Thy lovers will despise thee, and they will seek thy life." And you can see in that woman's picture, it seemed like she was wearing makeup, which is like the scripture talking about rinsing thy face and painting. Exactly. And that makeup is just temporary, trying to look beautiful and stuff, but deep down inside, she probably was a wicked ass bitch for a judgment like that to happen. And we already know through the spirit that no one's innocent when it's coming to judgment. So when someone dies, whether they did something wrong on this side multiple times, or whether they did something in their past life and the Most High had to get them at a certain time on this side, we already know through the spirit that that was her judgment, and it was justified for her to die any type of way that she died. But in verse 31 says, "For I have heard a voice as of a woman in travail, and the anguish as of her that bringeth forth her first child, the voice of the daughter of Zion, that bewaileth herself, that spreadeth her hand, saying, Woe is me now, for my soul is weary because of murderers." And in this case, she was murdered. And, she was able to escape that judgment. And you see, countless times, brothers be pushing videos out about how women need to get right. And these women just continuously being wicked as ever. And they feel like they're untouchable, they're invincible. Like you can't, you know, tell them a damn thing. You can't have no authority over them because they feel like the system serves them so much and the system serves them justice. So, y'all can feel like that all y'all want. Because at the end of the day, this is what the Most High finna do to you. He finna end up having you ass in a fucking, suitcase all packed up, But, you know what I mean? Packed up as being killed and packed up as literally being stuffed up in the damn suitcase after your ass is dead. So it's a double entendre on that one. And pretty much, you will usually see Edomites doing shit like this. This is something you will see from an Esau, so-called white man. He would pretty much be the ones who chop a body up and store it in a suitcase or store it in a freezer. So, and seeing that a Jake did something like that to that woman really goes to show you that that was a wicked ass bitch for that type of judgment to happen to her like that. Yep. And you can even see it in the photos. She looked like the type of, female that pretty much used a lot of guys and played around with their feelings and even went as far as fucking some guys over. She looked like she was one of those bitches. And guess what? She got judged. So should we feel bad? Hell fucking no. Bring out another precept. And Ecclesiastes chapter 25, I'll start at verse 22. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. Yeah. And I mean, he ended up having to pretty much be her ex. So either he pretty much divorced her or she divorced him, because we all know through the biblical knowledge of using the word marriage in the Bible means sex, and sex is marriage, and it tells you that in the scriptures. Not the American way of you signing all these legal documents. So pretty much when she broke up with him, I would say, or he broke up with her, and I wouldn't be surprised if the woman decided to do that. I mean, yeah, she pretty much did, because it pretty much showed that she eventually, had some order of protection against him. I forgot. That's what it said in the article. So yeah, so most likely she's the one that, did it. And eventually he ended up killing her, even though he had another girlfriend he was dealing with. you know. And Ecclesiastes, or Book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 23 says, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. Right? And you see that wicked woman was pretty much paired up with the wicked man, you know? And that was a judgment that happened, you know? So time after time, these women want to continue being wicked. You want to continue doing whatever you please and living an adulterous lifestyle, you know? You want to follow after the ways of America, which is in the Bible called Babylon the Great. Guess what? You're going to have a great judgment coming for your ass. And you may end up getting packed up in a suitcase too, or in a freezer. And the way you may go out before you die is going to be gruesome. In Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 28, it says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes, in time of destruction they pour out their force, and appease the wrath of him that made them. Yep. And you best believe that that was a spirit created for vengeance on that man's, soul. Like the fact that that he killed that woman that type of way, don't be surprised that she did some shit to really get that man irked in the spirit to make him kill her that type of way. There's a lot of women, they know how to really push your buttons, they know how to drive you crazy, and they pretty much live a whole lifestyle where anything that Esau allows, they pretty much will push that in the relationship. And anything that the Bible says that how a woman is supposed to be, they pretty much go against that. And the first Timothy chapter 5 verse 12 says, talking about women being wicked instead of them being righteous, saying that let me start at verse 12, having damnation because they have cast off their first faith, talking about the first man that they've been popped by, because that was their first husband, and they pretty much ended up divorcing that guy, which is breaking up with them, and it says right here in verse 13, at will they learn to be idle, wandering about from house to house, not only idle, but tattlers and busybodies, speaking things which they ought not. Verse 15, for some already turned aside after Satan. Exactly. And that's what a lot of these women do. They go and follow after the adversary, which is a so-called white man, to the nation of our people. He's the adversary to the nation of the so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans, which otherwise are known as the Israelites. The adversary of the Israelites is the so-called white man, which is Esau, the devil, that the Bible speaks of. Because over here in Babylon the Great, which is America, they have it to where they tell these women how to live a life, and that is pretty much contrary to the scriptures. And then now here you have it where a man is trying to, put order in his woman's life. She doesn't like that, and she want to usurp authority against him. And that's completely satanic. Women were made to serve men, and they can't even do that. But now when here it is now, when you try to bring the order on them, and they look at you like you the one who's toxic. And they are justified in doing every single thing to push your buttons. The last thing you should ever want to do is get a man upset and get a man angry. And these spirits are already turning up on these men to do these type of judgments. How much more in Jacob's trouble? Over here it says, this is the last one I'll bring out, Isaiah 32 verse 9. Rise up, ye women that at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless woman, for the venture shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble, ye women that at ease, be troubled, ye careless one, strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Exactly. What are you women gonna do in that day when there's no more 911, right? And you're gonna have men like this coming after you, woman, to pretty much take vengeance. And they're gonna really come in as packs, probably have gangs of other men, and work together to form an alliance to put judgment upon you, woman. And so much for ruining their lives, they're gonna maybe even torture you, woman, and keep y'all alive and force y'all into doing things that you're not pleased with doing. You know, basically them having their way with you. Yup. This is the reality that we're coming into very soon, where you're gonna find men that's gonna be killing you, woman, and preserving your body parts. And maybe when the food, and most likely, I mean, when the food runs short, they're gonna cannibalize y'all asses. Yup. During the famine. Because, and very soon, not only that there's gonna be a famine, there's gonna be a famine of the hearing his words too. So when judgment go out on the streets, there's gonna be a time where, you know, whoever gets judged like this, you know, it's on your ass. Because most likely you didn't take heed to hearing this word and you didn't take this word seriously. And that's a lot of y'all women. Y'all think this word is a joke. But y'all could keep thinking like that. Because this thing right here, it's either life or death. And that's pretty much about it. And with that, I hope I made a lesson edifying. Like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Adonai, Yahweh, Bashim, Shamak, Yahweh, Shah, Bashim, Kakadash, the honor to the apostle, and elders, great millstone, peace, citation, hopeful light. Yahweh, Shah, Bashim, Shalak, Rayam, Arawam, Wako, Yam, Wa, Abba, Shalom.